see if I hit the right button. There we go. It's Luke Smith, RealVacantLand.com, here with Jessica Hornbeck, who does CFO for a bunch of different businesses. And she's here to tell us and teach us about what's going on with the COVID virus, the coronavirus stuff, and when it comes to finances for your business, for your small business. She's been telling my wife about a bunch of different ways that we can use the government's money and the government's help to help the business. And I'm like, Jessica, you just got to teach this stuff. You got to show people what you're talking about. You got to tell us what you're talking about, because a lot of it just goes over my head. And she's trying to get some financial help in multiple different ways that I think a lot of people could use. So Jessica, thanks for coming on the show.
Yes, thanks, Luke.
And we've got comments going by. We'll get I'm sure we'll get some questions. So feel free to ask questions if you're on live. If you're watching the recorded version, we're going to put references and things that we refer to in the description of the video. We'll have more information in the description of this video below. Right now, there's a link to her website, and there's her phone numbers on there. Hopefully you hit mute or something for your phone.
I did.
Hint, if you guys want to have fun with this video. There we go. Jessica, what can you tell us about what's going on?
Yeah, hey there. So Jessica with Big Picture Results. I just wanted to take a few minutes because being an outsourced CFO and business coaching company, we are finding, just as we're picking our head up after tax season, that we are extremely busy supporting our clients, colleagues, fellow entrepreneur friends in not only getting the story straight around the various disaster loan programs available in conjunction with the U.S. Treasury and the SBA, but we are also really creating value for these businesses in cleaning up your financials, packaging them up, making sure you have appropriate reporting in place, and supporting you for a successful online application. I'm not going to spend too much time because we want to answer some questions, but there are three main arms of the disaster loan programs with the SBA and the U.S. Treasury. The first, directly on the SBA website under disaster loan resources. You could just Google that. We're going to include the links as well in our follow-up email attached to this live channel.
Yeah, we'll put the information in the description of this video.
So don't get too caught up writing things or whatever. I'm just going to talk about the highlights. So the first one is going to be the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. That is a loan program up to $25,000 unsecured, up to $2 million secured with collateral. It is an extremely low interest loan at around 3% with the SBA. You have the option with the online application process to select for a $10,000 advance, which will be forgiven if used for payroll.
Okay.
Can I
just interrupt you?
Interrupt me, yeah, sure.
I heard $2 million in there. So it goes up to $2 million. How do you get to $2 million?
There is quite a long list of criteria from, size of your company. A lot of this is driven to protect the economy and protect employees. So if you're a larger company with larger employees.
Can I use it on real estate?
If you have employees, absolutely.
So the employees, because it goes towards the paying them. This is the one that goes towards paying. The kids are off school, if you can hear them in the background.
All of the programs are primarily geared towards making sure that if you're an organization or a company that you're retaining your staff, you're protecting workers.
Okay, so it's made to protect the workers. So if I have workers, they have to be American workers? There's the question.
That's an awesome question. Yeah, the outsourced, outside of the U.S. isn't going to work.
Okay.
The information for these workers needs to be verifiable. Either you're paying them through payroll, so they're getting a W-2, or they're a contractor on your team and you're paying them with a 1099. Also protected, if you're paying yourself as an owner, that will be included as well as to what's allowed within that payroll or protected payroll.
So that's where the dollars come from. You have to have like a big payroll to get the $2 million or some sliding.
Right, that's the max.
Up to. Okay, so if you have one or two employees or something and you're trying to protect their jobs, You're on the smaller side of it. It still works and it happens and it's fast, right? It's like really fast. They're talking about fast.
Yeah, so they just opened up for the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. That's been opened up since last week. It's a 10-minute online application process. With a successful application, you're going to be prompted to upload your financials, backup, and the promise is within a 3-day period, you should be able to get that 10K advance.
It's pretty quick. So 3 days, you upload your finances. If you have your finances ready, and I was looking at this ahead of time a little bit, so the dates are weird. Tell me the dates. Not the exact dates, but
It is weird, yeah. So the online application, like I said, is going to take you 10 minutes. Don't wait till you have all your ducks in a row and all your reporting, because you're going to be prompted to upload that after the fact. You do need one piece of information, which is essentially tied to when this disaster, I guess became officially recognized in the States. And it's going to be your income and your cost of goods sold, which are your variable expenses, not your fixed overhead, for the period February 1st, 2019 through January 31st, 2020. So you have to have that number readily available in order to complete the 10-minute online application for the EIDL. That's the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program with the SBA. Yeah. That's the first program that I'm speaking about today.
And so that's where you come in. You keep track of people's finances, help them keep track of them, make sure they have it in order. So when this kind of thing comes up and you got these weird dates, you're like
we just run it
on the ball.
Yeah,
can serve up the numbers on of the weird dates.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So we pretty much have lined everything up already for all our clients, because we do their bookkeeping and CFO function on a monthly basis, and it just took us a few minutes to set up process per client with a dedicated folder, so that will facilitate the online process. Once you're prompted to upload, all you have to do is download your docs from that drive and upload into the online portal. We do have capacity now because we've done that for our clients. So for this sort of one-time feature, whether or not you're going to continue with us, going forward, we're offering a package deal to sort of wrap up this application process for you for both loan programs.
Cool. So maybe the land dealer isn't the exact use of the money, but because I hire a lot of people overseas and stuff, but maybe you can give an example of who's using this money. Like a restaurant would be what I'm thinking of.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's essentially going to be businesses that have been severely impacted, either a drop off in income because patrons can no longer frequent a brick and mortar storefront unless it's an essential business. If a lot of your staff are either sick or, like many of us are experiencing, we have children in schools are closed, and you're just not able to generate that same level of service and income as a result.
Yeah. Okay, so you have to be affected by the virus, not just...
So that's where we're going to talk about those sort of criteria as to who is specifically affected comes into play with the Sick Pay Relief Act. That is essentially an offset program facilitated with the U.S. Treasury and payroll. I can talk about that in just a minute once I hit on the Paycheck Protection Program.
Okay, so she's got a couple different notes. This first one is, what's the name of this first loan you started with?
The Economic Injury Disaster Loan, or EIDL, directly with the SBA online.
That's the one you can get $10,000 within like 3 days. $10,000, 3 days loan.
Once your application's accepted.
Once it's accepted, that's more than 3 days. How long do they take to accept it?
They're all working it out. To keep in mind what's going on, right? There is a lot of back and forth discussion and ongoing updates to the guidance as received with the U.S. Treasury, because as we're hearing in the news that the government is truly figuring this all out on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, I hear the computers are crashing. The people are trying to sign up so much for this.
Yeah.
So you probably have to, takes a little bit longer, but still. $10,000 3 days after you get accepted, and I think it's supposed to be some kind of digital acceptance through the SBA.
That's right. Yeah, so that's a really good point.
It's supposed to be faster.
So one of the things that
catch up.
The IRS is really facilitating, they want to make sure this money gets in the hands of the right people. So based on the bank and routing information on your latest tax return, so for many of us, we have only filed 2018, the IRS will actually use that information to deposit funds directly into your account. So there's nothing for you to do there.
Okay. Can I derail you a little bit more?
Absolutely.
We're live. Let's talk to some of the people that are on the show.
Yes, yeah. So we'll hit on the Paycheck Protection Program
we'll
after
hit
we
that.
answer some questions.
Yeah, let's hit that next. So Kiddo Community Garden says, hi Kiddo Community Garden. And Redefined Living's on the show a couple different times. He says, and still alive. I think Redefined Living just got a deal. Hopefully it's okay if I say it. If I got the right person, he bought a property for $500 on the website. And then later that day, someone else wanted the same property and they offered $1,000. And it's like, of course the guy gets the extra money, right? So I think we danced the paperwork for Redefined Living to get an extra $500 for the property. We made sure he was okay with it, but he resold it. He resold the property he bought on our website the same day without even remarketing. I think he just went for a couple more properties. I thought that was a pretty cool deal. So congratulations, Redefined Living, for reselling one so fast. That was cool. Thanks for coming on the show. Catsill's Posh Closet says, hello all, stay healthy and safe. Thanks, Luke and Jessica. Thank you. David's Take says, Luke, you're awesome. Thanks, David's. We the Animal says, I'm disabled and also basically homeless, but what about getting money to buy land and start a tiny home village to help others and myself? There you go. I don't know if any of the programs work for that.
Unfortunately, these disaster specific loan programs with the SBA are not going to be a good option for you, but the SBA does have other 7A loan programs to help startup businesses.
I'm going to add that to the end of the list here. I'm going to ask her about that later. I was scratching my head the other day. So We the Animals, I don't think the SBA deals have anything on that, but ruralvacantland.com, we got a bunch of properties for sale. And we got a bunch of people that do owner financing without credit checks. Like you can just click, and you can start making payments on one of those properties. Like I don't care if you're homeless. Some of the people use my address to put on the paperwork. I don't really want you doing that anymore. But some people do that. And I keep emailing them the tax statements over time until they get their own address. But, you can buy land when you're homeless. I mean, it's totally easy. You can sign up for it as long as you can make that first payment and keep the payments going. You can keep using the land. You just got to look at the regulations and make sure that they allow you to do. I think the hardest part of your question there is not about the funding of the land, but it's about the tiny home village. Like having a multiple homes on one property gets into zoning that gets crazier because it's like multifamily zoning instead of residential zoning, which most of the properties we have on the website are residential zoning. So you're going to want to look for agricultural zoning where the lobbyists like kick all those rule makers out and just let you get away with anything. Or you're going to have to pay up for some commercial land where you can go have some multifamily. So the hint in there is look for agricultural land. And just the farming lobbyists allow like migrant workers to come in and live in any kind of circumstances on the land, right? That's why the rules are wide open for that. But you can take advantage of that and use it as your tiny home village and stay there a lot longer than like migrant workers would. So go look for land that we have that's like agricultural zoning. And I think you probably hit the jackpot covering what you want to do. Agricultural zoning with owner financing. Redefined Living, yes, I want $2 million, please. Yeah, I want that $2 million too.
That'd be nice.
Samantha Envy says, I have TP, will trade for land. Beavis and Butthead properties. Call me. Exactly. So, I don't know about that. Costco had TP today. I think we got a delivery or something. Was it yours? You have a shopper there that just got some.
I do. I found someone that's actually running out and doing my shopping and deliveries for me.
I know, right? So we just got a new load.
Got to be creative, right? Get that money in.
Buddy Time says, greeting Earthlings. Thanks for coming on call, Buddy Time. I just made a couple videos. I don't know if they're all public yet, but they're rolling out on some of the properties you've been posting on the website. Those are cool, getting more of them. Thank you. Samantha says, my TP is solid gold there. YZ, greetings and salutations. Greetings. Tanya says, I'm thinking like the guy on land for tiny home village. Exactly. So look for those agricultural properties. I think you're going to find a lot easier words or a lot easier regulations there. My boss is using the program and we install 5G 60. I'm not sure. My boss is using the program. I don't know what you're talking about. Just a messenger for Jesus says Luke, and there's a quote. Luke's all over the place in the Bible, right? Um, goes on and on with some more quotes from heaven, and let's keep going. Samantha says, "You said capacity. What if I bought a small business in January? There you go. What if you just bought one? I think it would go
Brand
back.
new businesses fall under the criteria, as long as you have
Really?
your ducks in a row with
If
reporting
you
and all
bought
that.
it, there might be employees from like a year ago
Yeah.
or something. You could
Yeah.
have the history.
Brand new businesses are not disqualified.
Hopefully, you got the paperwork involved.
You just make sure your financials are in order, and you can quickly figure out what your income, your COGS, your average month-to-date payroll is going to be. Those are the figures that are used in calculating what loan will be dispersed to you.
Karma says, "Can we buy commercial land under 3 acres or so?" Yeah, of course. Of course, you can buy commercial land under 3 acres. I'm not sure which ones I have. I just made. I just shared another. I just made an offer on one. I was going through records this weekend. I found one. The guy paid. It was like a little over 500 grand for this commercial property. It's like next to a Walmart, and it's got like a trucking center on the other side and like a grocery store across the street. And it's like 3 acres, and it's commercial. And I'm not going to tell you where it is and stuff, but I can pay the taxes on the property and get it, and it's free negotiated. I can get the property for $50. I just sent the paperwork yesterday for it, so I'm gonna try to get this property for $50 that the guy paid a little over $500,000 for in 2005. As soon as that comes in, I'm gonna sell it for more than $50, guys. But I'm gonna put it on the website for cheap.
Nice.
Commercial property. It's gonna be fun. I'm always finding crazy ones like that no one else can figure out. Next one, We the Animals. Thank you for the info. Cheap off-grid land. Yep, we'll keep bringing it. Some of the best online land sellers. Here it comes. Anything cheap near Dallas, Luke? Dallas County, Dallas, Texas. Which Dallas? There's a couple Dallases. Dallas, Texas, I'm guessing. I don't have any right now, but we've had some over time. We'll try to get some more. The way the oil price is going, we should get a bunch of them over there. Luke, Don, do you mean on his website, Google General Search, Luke, the Ben channels? Luke, can you please tell the way to protect your property? Is it with an LLC or trust? Okay, so I think we're getting off the topic here. Let's jump back onto Jessica while she's here.
Should we go on the Paycheck Protection Program details now in brief? Cool.
I'll try to answer some of these off-topic stuff later as maybe Jessica moves on.
No problem.
So the second one.
Yeah, so the second program also is a U.S. Treasury and SBA collaborative product. It is the Paycheck Protection Program. And this program is specifically meant to protect your workers, your employees. There's been a lot of businesses that have already been disrupted, forced to put their staff on furlough, or just trying to figure out how are they going to make ends meet so they can continue to pay their staff. So this loan program is specifically meant to alleviate that pain. The beautiful part about this Paycheck Protection Program is that if you fall within the criteria and you sort of stick to your end of the bargain, it becomes a forgivable loan. The two criteria that must be met are that 75% of loan proceeds are used for payroll, and once loans are dispersed, the clock starts ticking on a 2-month time frame. Within that 2-month period, your payrolls cannot drop. If you have full-time staff, that cannot drop. You cannot pay anything less. We have specific strategies that we can discuss that we are checking in with our clients about a month into their getting loan disbursements to ensure that they successfully get this loan to be forgiven. If it doesn't become forgiven because payrolls drop or you decide to use the money for something else, it becomes still a really successful low interest loan with a 2-year term and a 1% interest rate. The caveat about how to apply for this loan, you're not doing it directly on the SBA website. You must have an existing business relationship already with an SBA-backed bank. If this is the case for you, you should have already gotten communications because effective this past Monday, April 6th, most of the major financial institutions have developed an online portal linked to your bank account to facilitate this loan process, and they should be communicating that to you via email. If not, go on your bank's website, confirming that they're SBA backed, and complete the online process there. You also need really specific data. The online application process is super quick. You do need one number, and that's going to be your average monthly payroll. The loan is calculated as a function of 2.5 times that monthly payroll amount. And again, 75% must be used for payroll related, including if you're an owner and paying yourself both as an employee and an owner. If you have contractors on staff and you're paying them as 1099s, in addition to W-2 employees, that all comes under the umbrella under workers and should be included in that average payroll amount. And finally, 25% can be used on rents, mortgages, interest, and utility payments.
Okay. So forgivable if we keep the same staff around. I think that's the key to it, right?
Absolutely. And that you're using at least 75% of the funds for payroll-specific expenses.
Payroll-specific expenses, 75% has to go towards payroll-specific expenses.
And that's to have it forgiven. If you fall outside of that criteria, it is still unprecedentedly very inexpensive loan money. 1%, 2-year term, right? You can really put that capital to work, assist you during this sort of like transitional time, as well as keep some reserves.
So if you're getting laid off because of this crisis, you should be educating your boss about these options.
That's a great question. One of the resources that we're gonna pull that we're gonna save along with like all the links to this, there is a PDF document that I shared with our clients and community directly from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. That's gonna not only help you in the calculations, but that employers should be posting to notify their staff about their rights during this time and what federal resources are in place to protect their rights and their livelihood as workers.
Yeah. So if you're getting laid off, educate your boss. You could send him this video. You could give him her phone number, which is in the description of this video. She could educate him for you. I don't know if you're willing to do that or not, but
yeah, if you hire us, we will gladly advocate for you.
Yeah. And if you're running a business, you could use these tools to keep your employees around, keep your business going through this time, and the money becomes forgivable. So why wouldn't you, right? It's like...
Oh, it's a no-brainer. And the beauty of the Paycheck Protection Program, different than the economic injury, there is no personal guarantee on the payroll protection program because they truly want these funds to be accessible easily without red tape so that you can protect your workers. Credit score doesn't matter. Very different from the economic injury disaster loan program directly through the SBA.
So I'm gonna sidetrack you a little bit. I'm gonna cherry pick the stuff that's going through the comments to try to keep it on topic.
Sounds good.
Karma says, so can I go buy up small businesses now with upward predictions, then papers showing a quarterly loss and claim more loans, effectively harvesting loans and creating a startup with funding? Do you understand what I'm talking about? Or he's talking about?
Your business has to already be in existence.
So you could buy a business that's already in existence that you could use these loans on, but you're supposed to use the loans to be paying payroll.
Correct.
Not use the loans to be buying the business.
No. Yeah. It's not a startup loan, although the SBA does have those programs.
Or a leverage takeover loan.
No.
Yeah.
No. But the
government,
SBA does help startups, so check out the SBA site.
A little wiser than that.
Yeah. Their 7A products are geared towards startups, but there's going to be collateral for those and a personal guarantee.
A lot of people talking about land. I love talking about land, guys, but our kids are here and we can only lock them up for so long before they come in and jump on us and the video's all done. So let's keep going on.
Yeah, should we wrap it up with
what's the Sick Pay Relief Act? You were going to talk about that.
Yes. So the Sick Pay Relief Act is a program sponsored with the U.S. Department of Treasury in conjunction with the various payroll companies. And again, this is meant to protect your staff as well as not disrupt your business. The criteria for eligibility is if you as an employer had to pay impacted staff sick pay because they are impacted for one of two reasons. The two reasons are going to be, firstly, that they directly became sick themselves with COVID-19 and they're forced to self-quarantine. You need backup documentation, either a test, a letter, and your employee will submit that to you, and that sort of allows you to then receive the benefit, which I'll talk about how the payroll companies are facilitating that in just a second. The second criteria is for a lot of us. Schools are closed, our kids are home, we're forced to stay home to care for our kids. If you meet that criteria and you're an employee, you are qualifying for sick pay. You also need to have documentation on school closure, that sort of thing. The way it's being facilitated is really interesting, and guidance continues to change, with the latest set of guidance being made available last night or first thing this morning when we kind of came to our inboxes. So I'm summarizing that information, and we'll be sending out an official newsletter and video tomorrow morning. But in short, the way it works, you pay your staff sick pay, you're out that money. The government is facilitating offsets to help alleviate that burden, and they're doing so by redirecting your payroll taxes that would normally get deposited with the state and the federal government, and they're using those monies to then offset sick pay paid so that you're not out that money. The payroll companies have updated their coding, their processing to sort of redirect those monies. In the event that you pay more sick pay in excess of the payroll taxes that would have otherwise been, paid to the IRS, you will either then go into the next period. And one of the things that I'm going to touch on tomorrow, once I get my head around everything, is, well, if that amount is in excess, another thing that's being talked about is the IRS is then considering advance payments back to us, something that the companies would facilitate. Still getting my head around all that language. That should be up and posted on our website tomorrow.
So my understanding is, instead of paying payroll taxes, you can use that money to pay sick pay on your employees.
That's right.
Right?
Correct.
Okay.
That's it in a nutshell.
And then...
And there's no hooks. That's the beauty of it. Again, it's, essentially free money to ensure that you as an employer are continuing to operate and able to keep your staff on board so that, this sort of economic disruption is lessened.
So I've got a question going by that's true to my heart here. And the guy, I don't see it anymore, but it's on here. Here we go. Redefined Living says, what about a business where you're the only employee? Because I'm kind of like the only official employee of my business.
Yeah.
You offer CFO outsourcing. I mean, that's the title I got up here. And it's a little, it's cracked. CFO outsourcing. How does that work? So you're like the CFO for a bunch of different people.
That's
right. You look at their business and you guide them, you advise them through these kinds of scenarios as they come up. If you were the CFO before this came up, you'd be helping people fill out applications and decide which and where and what to go for. Yeah,
that's a good question. So a CFO, a chief financial officer, is someone that is not only, setting up your financial systems and workflow for success to generate meaningful information in an efficient way, but they are digging into that financial analysis, assisting you with, forecasting, budgeting, what you're doing well, what you're, not doing well, so you can fix it, essentially to create value on your bottom line and profitability. One of the major things that we do in our company and our team, we have a few CFOs on board that work with our clients in really digging deeper into the financials so that you're in charge of your business. Understanding, your financials will give you sort of the platform so that you can then build and scale your business as you see fit, because that's why you got into entrepreneurship in the first place, to make money and create freedom. The thing with CFOs, though, however, because a lot of us know this term, but, CFOs make hefty salaries. So, it's not productive for, growing companies or even companies that are making a couple $1 million a year to have a full-time CFO on board. So that's where the outsource piece comes in. You're hiring us. It's a monthly commitment at a fraction of the price, and you're getting really high-level seasoned support that will make an impact on your business. And we are able to sort of take a step back, strategy, coordinate things from a tax perspective, making sure you're not leaving money on the table, you're taking all the appropriate directions and deductions on your business, and that you're managing your business efficiently for maximum profitability. And we're able to do all that and bring things together and facilitate a successful application process so that you are getting these loan monies.
Yeah. So someday, I don't know, maybe the market's changed, but I've always dreamt of having like my own call center for these land deals, where I've got a bunch of broker type people that are answering the calls from deals that I'm sourcing that are coming in, people that want to sell their land, and people answering calls for people that want to buy the land. And we just settle out a whole bunch of land trade. And I think we could do many times more of the land trade that the website's doing now or the business is doing now. But it's like how to scale into that. And you mentioned earlier in the presentation a 7A loan. And I've never really understood them so well. But the basics that I understand in today's markets are like 3, 4, 5, 6% money up to, I think it's $5 million that they loan. But I have to have like really well put together financials and probably the business plan of what I'm going to use the money on. I don't know what you can even use the money on, but it's government subsidized. I believe the government
backs it. So
it.
financial institutions are much more likely
to
want to lend you the money.
I don't think they back like 80% of it or something.
Most of it, yep.
I think they back 80% of it to the banks are taking on the risk of the last 20%. But that induces the banks to be much more willing to give those loans and help small businesses grow and hire and build and happen. And I feel like my business could use that kind of tool to grow and make happen. But it seems like I don't know the steps from where I'm at now to getting into pulling off a loan like that to grow the business. And I'm wondering if like your CFO service offers that kind of
absolutely
guidance
it's a really involved conversation, and as to not make it overwhelming, and we essentially have a conversation with the business owners, where you're at with the business, what are you currently doing for bookkeeping, financial management, and we will work with you closely in developing good financial workflow, bookkeeping that will essentially set you up to generate effective financial reporting to meet the needs for tax reporting, SBA loan applications, and then we can even dig deeper and develop customized management reporting to really help you get, a tangible numbers-based understanding of what the drivers are for your business, so that you can focus on what's most profitable and get rid of stuff that's not.
Yeah. More land deals, right, guys? Yeah. Okay, so I think I'll look for a couple more questions and take it from there, because I can hear the kids in the background.
Yeah,
our
time
kids
is
are the
running
same
out.
age, and we only have so much. Got people warning about doing business with the government because it's the government, and we're talking vacant land, and usually vacant land people and the government don't mix. But it's fun to use the government, right, guys? When they're handing out money, how can you pass it up? Like, come on. People are asking about land in different places. Do you have land here and land there and land for this and land for that? I've got you, ruralvacantland.com. Go to the map search and hit the map search part of the website, and it pulls up a map of like hundreds of properties all across the country, and you can just zoom into wherever you're looking for land. You can see what we have there. And then, those are a lot of the questions. So I just want to thank everybody for coming on, watching this show last minute, no notice, no timeline kind of show, and asking questions and being curious and loving vacant land and the deals I'm always getting into, and listening to Jessica and her expertise over here about what the government's doing in the CFO side of running your business or advising your boss and how to run their business so they keep you employed. And thanks for coming on.
Yes, thanks for having me. And
Yeah.
thanks everyone for listening. Again, Jessica Hornbeck with Big Picture Results.
Yeah.
Our website is BigPic, BIGPIC results.com. We offer outsourced CFO, business coaching, and bookkeeping services and training.
Yeah, so I put her website in the description of this video along with her phone number. We're going to get the other links you're talking about and
Yep.
add them to the recorded version of this video for later, and it'll take a little bit till it comes on the recorded version. So this website in the background, you can see up there, there's a contact us on her website, and you can get the contact information there and more information about Big Picture Results. And her phone number's on there as well, up in that other corner. Phone number and email. And thank you, Jessica.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, everyone. See you in the next one.
See ya.